Starfleet Underground. Every week, we'll take a look at the latest Star Trek news and then check out a current or classic episode of Star Trek.
Because we had that visit with HR and some cool DNA mods. This week, you get 2 episodes, and this is number 1. We get the thrills of a human-looking Saru. Find out if your anticipated input, yes or no. Orsyraa learns that Tilly is that bitch, and our food replicators are number 2.
Honestly, don't think we can keep it secret from him anymore, so we're going to have to tell him. All right, Heather, go to your station. I'll talk to you later. You too, Patrick. Hey, good day, everybody, and welcome to another wonderful, stellar episode of Starfleet Underground. I'm, of course, Captain Nathan Adams, and I'm here with my crew, and we're out cloaked in space somewhere, which is undisclosed location somewhere out in the Delta Quadrant. Turns out that when we give our coordinates that we have fans coming. So that's good and bad to have little ships going by broadcasting. Woo! So that's really interesting. Thanks everyone for joining us back. And I have my science officer.
Hi, I'm Heather Ferris. I'm the science officer, and I'm really, really looking forward to doing some traveling and everything. I got some places in mind. I want to visit Risa. I know a lot of places we're going to be going to.
Yes, I agree. And those of you who are curious why she said that, you'll see in a little while. We have now our computer person.
Hello, I'm Patrick. I'm number 1. I'm the computer guy, and I'm the foreign species liaison. Happy New Year.
Yes. Happy New Year to those that are listening.
Woo-hoo. Happy New Year.
And also our wonderful engineer who is more valuable now than he even realizes.
Oh, that's so nice of you to say.
Yeah, you may change your mind a little bit.
I'm just happy to be here every day, you know. I love working with you guys.
Oh my God, you are so valuable. Thank you.
Seriously, you're going to be so invaluable.
Wow, thank God I got my boots on, man, because it's getting deep in here.
You always wear your boots, even when you're with HR. So, Rocky?
Yes.
You're the engineer. Let you introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Rocky. I'm the engineer, and I make this podcast physically, technically happen.
He make podcasts go.
I make podcasts go.
Yeah.
He makes us strong. And he now will make us...
And,
yes.
And you do such an amazing job, Rocky.
Thank you.
He does. And he's going to actually help us go even more places.
Yay!
So, which is going to be even awesomer. First off, we have any corrections or anything we got going on?
I do not believe so. Let me check subspace again real quick. No, I don't see any information. Looks like we were spotless.
Woohoo.
Again. Now, we're going to go a little bit with news of the week. And then after the news of the week, before we get into the show, we have a special announcement to make. So first off, news. Heather, what do you got for us?
Sure. So my news is Gates McFadden is interviewing several Next Generation crewmates to see who she wants to be the new co-host of her upcoming podcast. I am really looking forward to listening to that. I'm so excited about it.
Cool.
Imagine having Janeway's voice in your ear on a weekly basis. It's going to be awesome. How about you, Pat?
Well, since we all know that Discovery Season 4 has started filming already, we won't be seeing Tig Notaro as much because since she is a survivor of breast cancer, she has wanting to limit her, exposure time and having to fly up to Toronto, to wherever they're filming. I can't remember where they're filming. Wherever they're filming, she wants to limit her exposure, having been a breast cancer survivor. So we won't see as much of her in season 4, but we will see her.
Well, that's smart. I'm sure they'll figure a way to fold her in without her having to come up, and especially the way special effects and everything goes these days. And how
they
about
could probably
you, Rocky?
green screen her from her home.
There you go.
Yeah. And they can seamlessly put her together. How about you there, Rocky? What do you got for us?
The news that I just, peeked right up to is because I thought we heard this before, but I think it is rumored that actors that have passed from Star Trek have actually been put into ashes and flown in several space missions over time. The space shuttle for one. And we can confirm now, we're absolutely sure in 2008, some of the astronauts from Scotty, James Doohan, was sent up to the ISS during a 12-day mission.
Oh.
It happened, and we can only confirm this now is because his son, Chris Doohan, actually wanted to keep this secret for a while. But he confirms it now that Scotty's on the ISS. I mean, that's amazing. In 2008, they had one of those entrepreneurs, the millionaires that were able to do the space tourism thing for the very first time. So Richard Garrett was one of the entrepreneurs, and one of the first private people that flew up to the space station. They smuggled it in on his watch, he went up with it.
Did he smuggle the ashes in his ashes?
I don't know. I think if I remember correctly, it's like a commemorative card or something like that, like a photo of Scotty, and some of the ashes are included in the photo. So it's sealed, but you can see some of the ashes in the picture of Scotty, and it's cool. I mean, it's so nerdy, but it's just amazing to me. And let's see if I confirm this correctly. He traveled so far nearly 1.7 billion miles in space, orbiting more than 70,000 times.
Oh,
Wow.
And it's a 12-year secret. If you guys are keeping track of what year it is, yeah, fascinating, right?
That is cool.
That's friggin' awesome. That really is, and for anybody to be deserved to be flying amongst this planet like that is definitely Scotty,
Yeah, it's very cool. I mean, I personally, on the whole thing, I want to get buried out in the middle of some lush rainforest or something and let the worms take me. But a lot of people, the standard procedure, I guess, is you get turned into ashes.
Did you know worms was a invasive sort of parasitic type of a animal being? I just learned about this like a week ago, and it still blows my mind.
Worms.
What's our great science fact from our science officer?
Yeah.
However, I do know why you want to be buried out in the middle of a forest, Rocky, so people can look at you and say to you what they say in life. It's like, oh my God, such a big wood.
There you go.
Oh my God.
So that's a big tree right there.
And how would you know how big his wood is?
That's Rocky's tree. Oh, he's got some wood over there. Yeah,
Look at that.
Okay.
it's pretty stiff, very erect.
Wait, why does this tree got veins?
Now we know what's going on when you two are in the holodeck.
Oh, please. No, I'm talking about when I go past his quarters.
Now I know what that white sap is.
Oh my God. Further than what I would have
Man,
done.
Heather always takes it one step further.
Jeez.
HR is coming for us.
Well, speaking of HR, we got in trouble with HR last week, didn't we, Captain?
Yeah, we did. But there had disagreements. But go ahead, explain.
Should we bring that up now to Rocky, or should we tell him later?
I mean, I
let's
did
tell him
have
now.
this incident, and I thought that's what this whole thing was about, my incident, because
Yes.
I was just going, one morning, I'm like, okay, I want to, tell the replicator I would like a bowl of oatmeal in the morning, like just oatmeal and warm. And it didn't do it. It says it's out of oatmeal. I'm like, what are you doing me out of oatmeal? You always have oatmeal.
Well, you didn't go to the bathroom first. That's the reason why.
I don't understand the way it all works. Yeah, I mean, sometimes we have some crappy food in the replicator, but that's just the way the replicators work. So I'm like, okay, fine. I'll take a bowl of Cheerios. So replicator Cheerios cold. And then I got my bowl of Cheerios. It was beautiful. I like the bowl of Cheerios, and it's great. And the next thing I know, I'm feeling a little bit woozy. And I'm like, okay, I got to sit down for just and then apparently I passed out. And I woke up in the year 2020 in a medical, in an ICU in San Francisco, right next to where Starfleet would be. But it was before Starfleet. So it was a crazy thing. And they couldn't figure it out. They're like, we only have this, modern day technology. We can't figure out what actually happened to you. So, yeah. So I spent a couple days there. I mean, they had me restrained for a while. I couldn't actually physically. They had me tied down. Barbaric. It kind of reminded me of some things. So eventually I did get out of there, and I got warped back. I got picked up by somebody in a nice minivan. It's actually disguised as a shuttlecraft. And she warped me back around the sun and got back to the modern time. And here I am.
There's a reason for all of this. And first off, we're sorry that you face planet. I told Patrick that was too much anesthesia in the replicator because for the Cheerios, but he didn't listen. And I'm going to have Heather give an explanation on what happened.
Okay, so I could get really scientific about this, but I will spare you the details and we'll give it to you straight.
Well, you will, I won't.
Straight, sideways, I'll take it any way I can get it.
Bent. So we really, really wanted a spore drive. And that meeting that we had where you didn't show up for the meeting, we all sort of voted that
You had another meeting?
Yeah.
We did have another meeting. We sent you a freaking notification and you never showed up.
But you were in the hospital. Yeah.
Well, we decided that you were going to be the conduit for our new spore drive, and that is the reason Patrick put anesthesiology into your Cheerios, so that way we could convert your DNA to tardigrade DNA and put 1 or 2 ports in your arm. So now we can go to Risa.
What? Risa? What's Risa got to do with this?
We can go anywhere now. Check your arm.
And
Oh my God. I thought that was just a sore from the needles from 2020.
no.
Oh my
No.
goodness.
We got a
And we
spore
also
drive.
learned that Orsyraa has a thing for people with tardigrade DNA, so we hooked you up. So hopefully you can do a bow chicka wow wow with her later.
Ooh,
Bow chicka wow wow.
the Grynder.
So, yes, the
For
Grynder.
Orion's, the Orion Tinder,
The
Grynder.
Grynder.
Oh.
I do not want to tell you the work that was
You're a mean
involved to get
one, Mrs. Grinch.
spore drive. It is just about, I can't even tell you how many strings I had to pull and how many bridges I had to burn.
Is that why that closet's over there in engineering that I didn't see before?
Yep.
Yeah. So this time, if you hear black alert, is not because we're getting a bunch of people on board. Okay. So you just got to realize that you got to go down and you got to go with we haven't got the mnemonic gel because apparently that tech is not invented yet. So that's why you got the ports.
Mm-hmm.
So you're very important to us more ways than one now.
Yeah.
Portent. That
Yeah.
ports.
That's right.
You
Very
in the ship,
important.
man. You guys are
So-
together now.
So impotent to us.
Impotent. What? I'm not impotent. They didn't say anything about that.
It's a minor side effect. It'll go away.
Tiny side
in a year
effect.
or two.
Okay, so side effects are nausea, sleepiness, dizziness, diarrhea,
Heartburn.
right, impotence.
Indigestion.
They didn't say this about tardigrades.
But that's what's going to make everything so fun for us, is that we're going to be able a chance to just do all kinds of places and go everywhere.
We can literally
So-
say we're going to bounce, and then next thing you know, we actually bounced out of it
Yep.
into somewhere else.
Yes.
Ba-dum-bum.
We're going to go ahead and test it right now. So you ready?
Let's do this.
Okay, let's go towards Earth.
Black alert. Black alert. Black alert.
Oh, that's pretty cool. A little dizzy. I didn't realize the flash might affect anybody that has prone to seizures. We're gonna have to look into that. Put some light patterns
Good
up
thing
there.
we're only an audio podcast.
Thank you very much. This is true. Now comes the exciting part. Now we've gotten all our stuff out of the way. Oh, I didn't give any news. Sorry about that. Alex Kurtzman and CBS are doing something which has a lot of Star Trek fans having their own little black alert seizure moment. They're planning Star Trek TV all the way through to 2027.
What?
That's including more Discovery seasons, more everything. So this is going to be friggin' awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
Where-
They don't have all the details, of course, because they've got to write it all, but they have a roadmap there where they want to go for all
Yep.
of the seasons, all of the shows, not just one, all of the shows.
For the next 6 years.
Yeah, that's frigging awesome. If you're happy right now, you're in Star Trek life this year, because 2020, I mean, you can bitch all you want about 2020, and you're right, because yeah, it did suck, except for Star Trek. Star Trek rocked 2020.
Indeed.
Now, for those of you that seem to not like Star Trek's Discovery and everything else, and I'm sure if you don't, you're not listening to us anyway, so this isn't for you. But with enough episodes coming out, with enough Star Trek coming out, even the people that normally hate Star Trek will get tired of hating it because there's going to be so much to choose from. So eventually they're going to find something they like. And then the people who like Discovery can get on board and hate what they love, and then it'll be evens.
Well, you know, haters going to hate no matter what. So.
That's true. Haters gonna hate.
This is true. Now let's talk about oh my God. I know that there are people out there who didn't like the episode, but I'm not one of them. This episode was,
To call.
yeah,
Yeah, that was a good one.
it was really, Heather, if you will.
Aye, Captain. So this week's episode is Star Trek Discovery Season 3, Episode 11, Su'Kal. It first aired December 24th, 2020. Teaser, Rescue Mission. We start the episode with Gray coming back into Adira's life and Stamets wanting to give him a piece of his mind. After Georgiou's funeral party, the Discovery crew finds a life sign on the Kelpian ship. It must be the Doctor's child. They have to go rescue him. They jump to the planet, but unfortunately, the Discovery is too big of a ship to fly through that horrible storm. So Book does a scouting mission to find the coordinates needed, and as an added bonus, he also finds out that the entire planet is completely filled with dilithium. Discovery has everything she needs to beam Michael, the Doctor, and Saru to the ship to look for the child, but they can't stay too long because of the high levels of radiation.
Bum, 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 bum.
It was kind of cool.
We started on kind of a down note because it was just still Georgiou's memorial going on.
Right.
But it was like, we got a little, but Adira, you're part of this. So that was really cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
And then Gray popped back in.
And then Stamets wanted to strangle him. He's like, "You're lucky that we're in a memorial."
And he's like, "Girl, you better not be doing that again. I will read you."
I feel for Gray though, because Gray was like, I don't totally feel connected the right way here. I was kind of stuck. I don't know what's going on either.
Well, it's because you're incorporeal. Hello.
Well, yeah, that too.
When you go incorporeal, some things get a little tricky.
Yeah.
I kind of figured if he had a chance to die kind of like naturally in a way or prepare, that would have been good. And I think if they was a Trill, that this situation probably wouldn't happen. This might have been a side effect for being in a human.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, they're not your typical Trill.
Yeah.
No, and they is lucky that the other incorporeal consciousness are popping up to talk to her.
Yeah, because that'd be a different show. It'd be like Star Trek Trill.
Can you imagine?
Then she would wish she was alone.
Seriously, Star Trek schizophrenia.
Yeah, it's hard enough. It's hard enough to having beings that aren't actually there talking to main characters on TV shows, and they do it all the time now. It kind of drives me a little bit crazy sometimes, but I've been liking Gray so far. I think Gray's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is.
And
could you imagine? Well, go ahead and press that. No, don't press that button. I remember when I was
button.
the other button.
I'd like to be the other. No, it's not that one. I'd be giving someone a hard time.
Their relationship seems really organic too. It doesn't seem like it's forced at all. I mean,
they have really good chemistry.
Yeah, the actors have really good chemistry.
It does. And I love Stamets' emotional connection to they already. It's really, like you said, it's genuine. It feels real.
He's Pappa gay.
I love that both of those guys kind of took the parental roles. It was so darn cute, but also so cool that they both kind of jumped in and says, yeah, we'll take care of you.
They're like gunkle daddies.
Yeah. I don't know what that means, but yeah.
A gunkle is a gay uncle.
Oh, okay.
Oh, cool.
Whatever works.
Yeah, I love that dynamic.
Yeah, but it's friendly and it's fun and it's happy, and I love all of that.
It's a great relationship seeing them, it's a tearjerker.
Yeah.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
And you see Stamets soften a little bit because he's when we first meet him, he's kind of like
wound too tight.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. He's
got a warp nacelle up his ass. I mean, come on, let's be honest.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with having a nacelle up your butt.
Not all the time, though.
So
that's where those went.
It's a charge, man. I'm telling you. You get those neutrino particles going, and woohoo!
Oh boy, I can see a new market available coming soon.
Oh my God, changing the subject. Finding a planet full of dilithium too. That's like finding a planet full of gold.
Yeah, they hit the big one right there. Once they found it, it was like, oh,
that was the jackpot.
And nobody bothered to go investigate this. That's the thing that pisses me off the most about this. The Vulcans are like, oh no, it was the burn. We're not going to look at this. We even have the data that could help point, but we're not going to research it because we don't want anything to do with this shit. So they didn't look into it. And Federation, they're blown all the way across the galaxy, so they can't even come and look at this. So nobody's investigating this wonderful magical phenomenon that's coming on with the nebula and the planet that's inside it and all the dilithium.
The ship that went there initially, the Kelpian ship that went there initially to investigate the dilithium.
It never
deposits.
came back, so they didn't send anybody else to look for it.
Right. So I would assume that they thought, well, nothing happened. They didn't come back. They didn't didn't report anything, so there must be nothing there.
That's probably what happened. Is they said we can't keep through this storm. To hell with this.
Yeah.
And they're probably done. Is probably what they said, and nobody said they signed it off. And it's just something never hear about that ship again.
Well, the fact that you have a planet basically they call it the Dilithium nursery that's sitting in a nebula, and they weren't aware of it. Federation wasn't aware of it. Nobody was aware of it. It's kind of like you running out of gas and you have no money. And you're at a gas station and you forget that you have $100 bill tucked in your wallet. It does you no good that you don't realize it's there.
Yeah.
So it's sitting there, and it's like it does the Federation and the Emerald Chain no good because they don't even know it's there.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool.
And everybody's getting this music coming at them cosmically, and nobody's going to investigate the music. And it turns out to be tied right into the Kiev being transmitting that distress message, and nobody's hearing it.
Nobody even realized it was a distress message.
Yeah.
But Book decides he's going to save the day, and he's going to take his ship in.
Oh, we're jumping way ahead. So
no,
we
that's
need
still
to
in
pause.
the first. That's still
no, it
before.
actually he does. He does the quick little run through to try to get in there. Yeah, right in the
But
first
I thought that wasn't
section.
that wasn't in the premiere though. That wasn't.
No, it was.
He
It
does
was.
this. Book does the scouting mission.
Yeah,
in
he
the
does a
premiere.
scout mission to go look first.
Or in the
This
teaser.
is all before the credits.
I stand corrected.
Because Discovery can't do it. The ion winds are hitting Discovery's disk like it's a sail, and they just can't stabilize enough to fly through it. But his ship is a transformer, so he can reconfigure on the way in and find out what's going on.
Transformers, more than meets the eye.
Exactly. And then he finds a stable bubble where they can pop into.
Right.
A starship in disguise. Okay, now I guess we can go to the next one. I am not one of those captains that will hold his reins to try to prove he's right when he's wrong.
I've got only the one note about Saru. We figured out what he was watching, the Kelpian in the imagery. The red images on her face wasn't because it was radiation. It's because she's pregnant.
Preggers. She's preggers.
Yeah, Saru's watching Preggo Porn. Okay, that's my only comment right there. I had to go there, and you can continue to the next act.
Well, we're going to HR again.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's what people do. It's natural, right?
Well, HR was already mad at us for putting the tardigrade DNA in Rocky without telling them. We got serious trouble for that.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, but Preggo Kelpian porn is a whole nother. Yeah.
Yeah, he was watching that message like at least a couple times a day, I would think. Saru was like really affected.
And I think also because he was homesick.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I get that as well. Or our next section.
Okay, Act 1, Away Team. Discovery reports to the Admiral and tells him that the planet is full of dilithium, which he is very happy to hear about, as well as the life sign that Saru, Michael, and the Doctor are going to rescue, which the Admiral is less thrilled about. Tilly will be the acting captain while they're away, and Michael tells Tilly about the knob on the captain's chair that's great for stress reduction. After the team beams down, the first thing Tilly does is rub that knob. When the away team arrives on the planet, they are dumbfounded to find they are each a different species. Michael is a Trill, the Doctor is Bajoran, and Saru is a human.
A human.
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 He said it just like the Ferengi. It was so cute.
My note was, Culbert's a Bajoran and Burnham's a Trill and Saru's a Doug Jones.
It's really cool seeing Doug Jones's natural face to see him really emote without the prosthetics.
That was the best part of this episode entirely, is to see his actual face doing acting.
He
Acting as
does
Saru,
so
like,
well.
I'm human? What?
Right. He does so well as Saru through all that prosthetics. You still get all the emotion and all the feels, but to actually see his actual face and watch it move and contort and show everything that his voice gives you.
All that compassion is right there in his face.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's so
beautiful.
much fun. I love it when they take an actor that's so commonly used for character actor, always has makeup on, and then you actually see their face and how they act. I love this. I love that they do this.
He saw, my heels are touching the ground.
Did you see Burnham's face when she's like, I mean, the look, she's like, oh my God, you're human.
Yeah, I think we all had that. Yeah, it was great. It was a fun moment. I love that they did that.
He's like, what's happening?
And it wasn't just that Saru was in human form. The other characters were doing makeup too. I love that as well. So they didn't give everybody a break on the makeup chairs. They actually brought more people in to do different makeups for everybody. And Saru actually, his hair was actually done too, because that wasn't his natural hair because he was shaved up to do the Saru stuff.
And, this is the very first time Doug Jones has ever appeared as human in any Star Trek episode.
Very cool.
It really was.
Yeah, he doesn't appear human in a lot of stuff that he does. I mean, he does a lot of prosthetic and creature work. That's mostly his forte. But he has appeared as a human in other things, just not as often as,
But not in Star Trek,
work.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very cool.
I also like how they brought in, I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember a thing called a worry stone. It's what people used to carry with them, officers in combat and other places. Now they got it. It's a fidget.
We got stress balls now. Fidget spinners, stress balls and fidget spinners and
Tilly rubbing that knob.
And Tilly rubbing knobs.
Yeah, rubbing a knob. And the fact that everybody, you don't want to show weakness or indecisiveness in front of your people when you're in command. So they found a little thing underneath it to kind of like a worry stone. Yeah. To be able to rub to help focus your mind.
Shouldn't you only be rubbing your knob in the holodeck?
It's in the captain's chair. It's okay to rub your knob every time you feel necessary.
Well, yeah, I guess
as long as you're not making it obvious. If you're making it obvious, then someone's going to look a little weird. But if you just give a little stress, touch, you should be fine.
As a captain, you're free to rub your knob. You earned it anywhere you want.
and when you're in that chair is part of being captain. And there's a reason why everybody likes the chair. It's all about the chair. It's not just that it symbolizes things. It's got that little stress part that nobody knows about.
Yeah, but only people in command know about it.
Exactly.
Everybody else has sat there, didn't rub it. So
I imagine Janeway had to have her chairs repaired a couple times over the seasons of Voyager because of oh my goodness.
Especially the Year of Hell Part 1 and 2.
Yeah, they probably just put a new chair in altogether after that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Harry and Paris were wondering why they were always replacing the captain's chair. I need a new captain's chair.
But you showed that she said that Giorgio had rubbed it so much there was no longer an anomaly there. It was just a dent. She had actually wore it down to a divot in the chair. So it shows you command is not as easy as a lot of people think or make it look.
Well, but Giorgio's Terran, she's stronger than a human, so it probably wouldn't have taken as much.
The Prime Universe one.
No, the other Giorgio, the Prime Universe one they were talking about.
Yeah, on the
other Giorgio never sat in the captain's chair on Discovery. So it was a nice thing to see, like you said, Doug Jones in his normal face, and from them to be in an area that's like you land to expect that what environment we're going to have. And then, wait, we're in the forest.
they end up on a Starship holodeck that has gone fucking insane. And it's a more advanced one.
Michael's all Red Riding Hood in her little red cape. And
yeah, right? She's in the forest and we're about to see 3 piggies walk down the street. I mean, it really felt like that, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're living in a fairy tale world. It was like, oh my goodness.
It was very Handmaiden's Tale.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. I didn't even,
But yeah, to think about this, because Discovery's from before TOS, and so their holodeck technology, they didn't have any. And to jump into, the future, even though it was 100 years ago, their holodeck technology is far surpassed what we saw next gen. Mm-hmm. So the fidelity and expanse of this holodeck they got beamed into is such that they get their own images transformed and they can't find their own tools on them. And it's still malfunctioning. So
yeah, they can't turn it off.
They can't turn it off.
Computer and program.
Yeah, computer. I love it. It's like first thing you know. Okay, I'll call it in program. And nothing happens. And he tries it a couple languages. Nope. Sorry, Saru. It ain't happening.
And did you know that the old Kelpian on the ship, he was played by the same actor who played Saru's father on the short trek?
Oh, really?
That was pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I heard about that. That was really cool. And for Saru to look in awe because no Kelpian has ever reached that age before because you all were called before then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I like the foreshadowing when but we're still back on the ship when the Admiral asks if there's any chance that the life sign could somehow be involved in the burn.
Yeah, that was like, ding, ding.
Foreshadowing.
Could the child be part of the burn? Is my big question mark. It's like after watching it the second time going, oh, yeah, they're definitely hinting at it ahead of time. Didn't think about
like,
it.
no, the child would only be like 5 or 6 years old. So
yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bomb, 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 bomb.
Yes. They dropped the kind of a bombshell in there. But they did mention that a book said it. Where did he say it? He said the galaxy has just got a whole lot smaller, which is kind of funny because the finding dilithium of this nature is like, well, I think the galaxy just got bigger again.
Dude, when the Admiral heard that they found a planet full of dilithium, you could see him coming in his pants.
He's also defensive. It's like Orsyraa wants your spore drive too. It was like in a planet full of dilithium. We gotta be very careful here.
You saw him do that silent shudder that Patrick does when he finds out we have a male guest coming. And then his hands drop.
Mine's not a silent. Mine's never a silent shudder.
Oh, before we go further, if you have kids, leave the room.
Yeah, by the way, don't let your kids listen to this.
Are your kids still listening to the show? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Seriously, get the hell out.
We're not a Star Trek kiddie show over here.
This is not
17 and older.
This is not the animated series.
Yeah, exactly. Ain't nothing animated that you want to know about this show.
The only thing animated is Patrick's hips when we have a male guest. So,
bow chicka wow.
Well, you know what I thought was interesting though was before they beamed down to the planet, Michael was talking to Book and she said that she was worried that Saru wouldn't be able to make the hard call and the painful decision.
Yeah, maintain that objectivity. Yeah.
But I was like, bitch, just 2 episodes ago, you were the one, you know.
She's the one, exactly. But she's to the point where it's like, I don't even think, I'm not the one to do this, but I don't think he can do it for here. I was just like, yeah, I know Barton would be the expert opinion on this.
The Admiral was like 2 episodes before the Admiral was like, well, can Michael make those kind of decisions, you know, because of Georgia. And it's like, so, and here she is coming back and saying that she doesn't think Saru can. I'm like, hello, pot kettle.
Exactly.
I was thinking the same thing when she said that, like, I love you, but that's a little hypocritical.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, it was a lot of hypocritical.
Okay, but I loved a little moment of scene. There's one scene that's a gem of this section when Tilly Burnham says, "Come sit down, Tilly. Things just before things get crazy," and she's like, "Oh, things are already crazy, girl." You know, I love their little powwow talk because they have this little moment that only these two people can have, and it's before everything's shit's about to hit the fan, and it's just a matter of time.
But she hesitated. She Tilly hesitated that brief hesitation before she went and sat in the Conn. It was very meaningful.
Yeah, and everybody's like waiting for her command, and she knows it's the moment, and then she goes, she finds the little nub, is like, okay, fuck, we're gonna do this. We got the nub. Black alert.
Going back to the scene where they're sitting together before we move on, did you guys notice that they called Ensign Tilly over the microphone? Like, what the fuck happened to her being number 2? Like, she's not Ensign anymore.
No, she's still Ensign. That's still her rank.
Yeah,
it's not
her position. It's her rank.
But she's number 2.
Number 1.
But they never called that
or whatever.
No.
Yeah, number 2 is what you do in the military.
Number 2 is how we get apples.
You always
that's a spoiler.
You always call a person by their official rank, not the official title. Like when I got promoted into a staff sergeant's position when I was a lance corporal, I was still called a lance corporal.
Why do they do that?
They wouldn't say like acting staff sergeant, come here. No, because it confuses people. So you're a lance corporal. They remind you that, you may be in that position, but you don't have the rank yet.
But they always called Nathan, when they called Nathan, they said, come here, acting staff infection.
Where's the thing?
HR.
All the military guys can come over here when we get to see Patrick in person and just give him a nice shake of the hand right there.
Rocky, why is there safety protocols on here? I can't get all the air out of Patrick's room. It just denied me.
As a minor detail about these new ships, they've got safety protocols on the air supply.
We added it in after the last ship.
I have a bubble around me anyway, so you can
minor detail.
Stop farting after you swallow bubble gum and you won't have the bubble around you. But that's why they call her ensign, because that's her official rank. They wouldn't call her, Commander Tilly when she's not a commander. it would mess with people's new head too.
The more important thing was that they called her out on the PA, and it's like, it's time to go, girl. That's what it was. It was like, okay, we got to go.
And Mary Weissman, as an actor, I really got to give her credit because she showed before she sat in that chair the gravity of the situation, like you guys were saying.
You saw her kick into it.
She paused for a second.
Yep.
Her pause as she realizes the weight of what she's about to engage in really hit her. And so much that she felt that knob, and you can see that, oh, thank God it's there, So that was pretty cool.
Next scene.
Okay, Act 2, A Visit from Space Karen. Storyline A, the away team figures out that they are in an advanced holo program, but that doesn't change their mission. They must find and rescue the child. However, when they do finally find him, they tell him about reality, and he doesn't take it very well and runs away. The NPCs try to help, telling them that they can't rescue the child until he faces his fear and the holo monster has been defeated. It's decided from here on out that they'll treat this as a first contact situation. The doctor and Saru go search for the child while the monster chases Michael through a labyrinth. Storyline B, while Tilly and the crew are waiting for the away team, a Federation ship appears on their sensor and leaves his Discovery crew asking a lot of questions. When the ship arrives, they see is Orsyraa, and immediately both ships cloak.
Did you guys notice, though, when Saru was walking, his hands didn't swing?
No, they did.
No, not as a human.
Not in this section, but I think it was like in Act 4. We see him walking away and his hands were swinging on the bridge.
Yeah, he forgets for a second. His hands did swing a little bit on that one.
Well, the bridge that they were walking across at the end, wow, that was a hell of a visual shot.
That
I would swing my hands on that thing. There were no handrails on that shit. That was like a Super Mario game come to life.
If you guys watch the Ready Room too, Doug Jones gives an interview with Will Wheaton, and Jones tells about how he consciously made the decision to act like Saru even though he was in human form. So he was like swinging the hands and everything.
Yeah, I watched specifically his hands didn't swing when he was human.
Well, the first part, then the second part, the last part, it did, because I noticed that as well, that in the beginning his hands weren't swinging, but that scene on the bridge, there was sway to his hands.
He was probably just getting used to walking on, heels touching the ground.
Yeah.
Being human.
Did you guys notice that when Su'Kal ran away, when he said, "You woke the monster," he totally sounded like the Cowardly Lion to me.
Yeah, they were playing some things in there. They had a lot of fun because the kid is the make-believe. I mean, he's in that make-believe world, and that's the one thing he hasn't. He's played the entire friggin' arcade game that they set up for him, but he hasn't finished the last level because he's afraid of it.
Yeah.
When that monster, when it's telling him, "Look at me," I have a feeling that the monster is really a hollow representation of his mother, and when he conquers it and looks at it, it'll transform to his mom.
Well, it looks like a Baul.
That's interesting.
Interesting, yeah.
It looks like one of the Baul to me.
Yeah, it does look like a Baul.
I just loved how Burnham meets it, and the first thing she does is nonviolent. She's like, "Okay, I'm not going to throw this rock at you," but then it chases her all over through the stairs, and she gets into the exercise program of this crazy place.
She was in a real life version of MC Esker's like reality.
Yeah,
that was such a beautiful visual that did conjure up that classic.
It was like Donkey Kong, man. Come on.
Oh man, it was so crazy. I loved all the visual work they did, and they walk into that place the first time, and you got these little, I don't know, were they space dragons flying around in the air, but they're like
jellyfish
swimming like fish.
They were gorgeous.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Beautiful. And and then you see the behind the scenes stuff they were showing. A lot of that stuff was practical. I mean, some of it was obviously CG work, but they were just embellishing the practical set work they did.
Yeah, most of the set was
friggin' cool.
Yeah.
It reminded me of some of the creatures from that show on Netflix called Alien World. I think it was like the very first episode. They had creatures something similar like that.
Yeah, it's very cool work. Very, very cool. They had dragons flying in the air, swimming around in the air.
There'd be dragons really in that nebula.
Something.
I really think what lends me to think that creature really is his mother is because she wants her son to be able to graduate, so to speak. And she knows he has to do it on his own. So any organic that's there that's going to fuck up the final exam.
Yeah, it'd be a little hostile.
Yeah, it's going to be ugly, but he's got to do this.
Yeah,
he's got to do this on his own. That's why he was sitting there yelling, "Look at me!" So I find that I'm wondering if I'm right, but it really kind of felt that way.
That's a cool theory.
Do you guys know what the timeline was though, from when the child was left there?
The child is 125 years old.
That kid is young.
He's
125 years.
How long do Kelpians live? Because Saru must be like 500 something.
Did he go through the Vahara yet? If he's 125 years old,
he definitely feels like he's younger than that, though, doesn't he?
Well, according to the Holo, the anticipated input, which are the rescuers, they've been waiting 125 years, 3 months, 17 days, and 4 hours to be rescued. To be specific about it.
Now, what I really liked about that whole program thing is that they showed that radiation had really degraded the Holo program as well as everything else, because it stripped away the GUI, so to speak. Rather than coming up the words, it's like anticipated input.
It's like, you are the greetings, anticipated input. How are you doing? Yes or no?
Yeah.
It felt like back in the day, and I'm going to go back in the day. Okay. So I grew up on a Commodore 64. So when we were running the programs on the Commodore, and the program sometimes would fuck up, and you're running like in basic mode, and then it would just let you start typing on the screen. So you're in the middle of the game, but you could see the fucking basic code sitting there on the words are on the screen. And then you could just list the program and it will fly over, and like, so you broke the wall that was inside. You were in the game and the game literally crashed, and now you can see the code. So the holodeck really reminded me of this on this ship, that it starts calling you a code, and they're naming, are you the anticipated variable? Yes or no? Maybe we need to initiate defense mechanisms. Now the program would never come out and say we may initiate defense mechanism, but obviously they gave him as like, you're what we wanted for, right? He's like, yes we are.
It's like, hi, what is your name? Input string S1.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was pretty cool. I like that, to show the way they stripped away that veneer to let you know how bad the degradation had gotten.
Yeah, and it was cool that they kind of explained that there was the monster and he needs to defeat the monster before. It's kind of like, because we can't find the way out of this fucking holodeck. Where is the exit? And they probably is like, we're not going to show you the exit. The kid's got to fix the program, play the rest of the game all the way.
Yeah, you can't win Frogger unless you get across all the roads.
Yeah, otherwise you just keep hopping traffic the entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no using personal transporters in Frogger. So
yes.
It just beats the game.
That's right.
Do you guys remember in the 1980s Max, where he was that face? It was like
Max
the computer.
Max Headroom.
And he would always stutter and everything.
Oh, I love Max Headroom so much. I'm glad you know Max Headroom. Oh my
That's
God.
what it sort of reminded me of, with the stutter and everything.
20 mints into the future is the way those episodes started. It was always so cool and very, I mean, you watch it now and it's like, whoa, what the fuck were kids doing in the 80s? But yeah, Max Headroom was awesome, because it was like it was like a cue built into the internet. And it would always pop up and say, hi, how you doing? What's going on with this? Maybe we need to look at that,
Yeah.
It was always great. He was always helping the plot move along. But sometimes he was just doing weird shit.
Yeah. And for a while he was everywhere. Max Headroom was doing Coke commercials. He was all over
he was
the
an
place.
icon of the 80s.
Yeah, he was.
And that actor,
and he was played by Matt
icon.
Frewer. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh God,
okay.
Matt Frewer is the best. And I've followed him throughout the career to see him in shows like you watch sci-fi shows, and he'll pop up in Eureka and
Orphan Black
and Orphan Black's one. And
he was in the original The Stand.
He popped into The Walking Dead recently.
Altered Carbon.
So good.
He really is. He's a good actor. And he's also a very pleasant person. We've had a chance to meet him as well.
Oh, cool.
Really, really cool person.
Yeah, I'd shake his
But
hand.
I love it. Could you imagine?
Cool.
If Zora was like that? So crew. What do you want to do?
Maybe you need a drink of Coke. Let's watch a movie.
Just chill and relax. We got this.
Yeah,
That totally reminded me of
artificial
that.
intelligence gone nuts, like literally nuts, mixed in with this brain of a journalist that got bonked on the head because he's trying to do his job and trips into something.
And he was also on The Magicians.
Yeah, that's
What?
right.
Yeah.
What was
Yeah,
he?
he was.
He was the binder.
Yep.
No, my mind is blown.
And he was on 12 Monkeys.
Yep,
Wow.
he was, yeah.
He was? Have I got to that part yet? Oh my God. Oh, and I think I did see him. Yes.
Dr. Kirschner.
Yeah, I'm almost done. I am on the last season of that, guys. I'm almost done seeing the whole thing. I've been watching it, and Todd Stashwick is wonderful in it.
Oh my God.
And now I realize all the work he's done. Now I've seen a lot of it, and I got big high fives to Todd because that's good shit.
You started watching that like right when we interviewed him for the show, and now you finally got to the end of the series. That's so awesome.
Yeah, it's funny. So yeah, I've been taking that journey.
He's an awesome actor.
If anyone's been taking that journey along with me, it's wonderful. It's funny because there's like one other person on Twitter that's also kind of on, they're like a season behind me, that's making comments once in a while. I was like, oh, cool. I'm not the only one. Anyway, back on Star Trek.
Yeah, I was going to say we totally jump off the rails on that.
We have a faint transmission coming from far away, and we think it's a Starfleet vessel, but it's not.
Oh yeah, there's like, oh hi, we're Federation. Oh, we got the right codes. Yeah, we're not going to talk to you, but we're Federation. We're all one happy fleet.
But Captain Killy figures it out.
Yep, she does. That's kudos to her.
My question is when Orsyraa pops in, why did she pop in where Discovery was? I thought Discovery had to jump to that location through all of those clouds.
Well, it's the Trans-Warp-Conduits that the traders use, and it's not a well-traveled path because, as we go find out later, there's stuff
littered with ships.
It's a really bad place to. It's a bad road. It's a really bad road.
The Trans-Warp-Conduit that's after the clouds, so that's like past all the clouds.
Outside the cloud.
They didn't have to go through the clouds.
No, well,
because they went through the
Discovery's not inside the nebula anymore. They popped in to let Saru and Hugh and them go down to the planet,
and then they left.
Then they popped back out.
Even when Discovery popped into the nebula, their shields started to go down to like 30% very quickly.
Yeah,
so they had to pop in and pop out. Even though they had a stable place they could be, they couldn't stay there because the shields were just constantly draining. So they get right back out again.
Okay. Yeah. Now, since we're talking about the transwarp tunnels, I want to say this real quick. Book mentioned that this technology is somewhat unreliable, but why are there transwarp tunnels at all? Well, in the Next Generation episode, Descent, we learned that the Borg used transwarp tunnels to get around, and this fact was reinforced in Star Trek Voyager and most recently in Star Trek Picard, where Soji helped guide the La Sirena into a transwarp tunnel right before the big finale in Picard Season 1.
Yeah, it's this thing that's out that it exists and they're using it. I think that's really cool.
But apparently all those ships were in the Trans-Warp tunnel when the burn happened because kaboom.
Yeah.
Oh, is that how they all got there?
Yeah,
I'm guessing that's what happened. Yeah.
I got a comment about that when they get to that part. But remind me to get back to it when we get there.
Was it like a highway then?
Yeah,
kind of. Yeah, it's like a little. It's like a. It's like a series of tubes.
So it's like a highway, and then there was a bunch of cars on the highway, and then the burn happened and all the cars blew up, and that's why nobody uses the road anymore.
Well, think about it. It's kind of like an easy pass. People who had access to the conduits was like an easy pass. And they shooting by regular traffic. Oh, look at those slow suckers that can't use the carpool lane. We're in the fast lane and we can get through. It's like, what the hell's going on with the engine? It's like, what was that? Bam!
I think we're good for the next section.
We are in next section. Yep.
Okay.
I mean, my only other note was that they show up and it's red alert, and then my note for Tilly was rub that nub.
And she rubs the knob when they go and they cloak.
Yeah. And they cloak. I forgot about the cloaking. I'm like, oh my God, we can cloak now too. That's awesome.
That's cool. Discovery could cloak.
Yeah, it's no longer forbidden.
They just can't jump while they're cloaking. So you can't invisibly pop in someplace. You got to pop in someplace.
Unlike the Klingons though.
They can't rub knobs while they're cloaked either.
Well, you can rub knobs, but just not with another ship.
Jesus Christ. You guys.
Okay, Act 3.
Unless you've got snakes that come out of your ship that entangle the other one. But anyway.
Okay, so if you go to a porn channel and Google snakes.
Don't do that.
Okay. And also octopus and squid too.
Oh, good.
That's a Japanese thing. Act 3, the cause of the burn. As they are looking for the child, Saru discovers that his name is Su'Kal. In the Kelpian culture, after a family has gone through a great tragedy, the next child born is named Su'Kal, which means the end of suffering. Michael ends up getting away from the monster and in a stroke of luck finds the child. She pretends to be a holo NPC, but unfortunately she's a bummer and no fun, and the child doesn't like her. The monster finds Su'Kal and attacks him, causing Su'Kal to defend himself by emitting energy waves that nearly cause a second burn. Huge revelation, Su'Kal is the source of the burn. These energy waves force both ships to decloak, and Tilly prepares for all-out space war. Fire!
So can we talk, Su'Kal is played by comedian Bill Irwin, and you may recognize him from Sleepy Hollow, from Legion, and from Law & Order SVU, but he did an amazing job as Su'Kal.
Yeah, he really did.
I was believing him all the way.
Yeah, I mean, the childlike innocence that he played this character was phenomenal.
It was really, and I have to give credit to Michael as well, is when she's sitting there and he comes across her and she didn't just like try to interrupt his little world he's living in. It's like, are you a program? Oh my God, this is a part of the game I haven't played.
Yeah.
She's like,
and she did such a good job.
Well, I love that she throws in her Vulcan training. She knows how to act like a computer. She can do that. She can act logically like a teacher.
Oh my God, she's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
It's like, I'm to help you be able to, assimilate into people. And then when he goes like, I don't like this reset program, I was like, holy shit, what the fuck is she going to do? And she just blanks her face.
And then she just turns around and she goes, hello.
Hello. Nice to meet you. Who are you?
It was so perfect.
That really was. She was trying her best to get through to him. And I thought that was nice.
I don't like this program.
Yeah, because the other method is come on, kid. We got to get out of here. We got to go to the outside. We got to get the fuck out. And kid's like, he says,
no outside.
That won't work. You got to play with him and get onto his level and try to bring him in, gradually and gently.
But his excitement on his face is just like a kid who just woke up and opened up a package and found that he's got a video game he's never played before.
Yeah, that was really cool.
And then he puts the game in and it's dog shit. Like, this isn't fun. End program.
It's dog shit. Turn this into an apple.
Right? What was really touching was when Saru is with the Elder and the Elder starts singing the lullaby.
Oh, man.
And Saru just
has the flashback sequence.
And flashbacks of all his time on Kaminar. It was just like, it was really a touching moment.
We are so lucky to have so many amazing actors on this show.
Yeah.
That's one thing I always love about Star Trek is the acting caliber is always wonderful. I mean, you can make fun of Shatner all you want, but generally Star Trek acting, when you get guest stars in the show, they're usually really, really good. Even if it's hokey, they're good at it, I'm
rewatching Voyager and I want to disagree with you.
Okay. Well, sometimes, we got production limits and things. So we should talk about Voyager episodes. But for the most part, they have episodes that bring on characters that just they bring their own life into the story, of the character's life into the story, and makes it so much more compelling. And I'm seeing a lot of that in Discovery. The actors that come in on the show are so good.
For sure.
They really learn to inhabit the skin of the characters they're in, and it gives an air of authenticity.
Even if they're behind a lot of plastic like Saru, or latex, whatever that is. But the Elder looked phenomenal. His makeup job was wonderful, but his character was beautiful.
Yeah, it really was. In that book that Saru said, do you mind if I look at this? And the reverence to see all of the Kelpian history and things in the book, that was
and it was so beautiful. The name Su'Kal means beloved gift, and the whole new kid after a tragedy thing, meaning the end of suffering. That's so beautiful. I mean, that's kind of stuff that's like, oh, that's wonderful. That's a tradition they would do. They'd name a kid that after a lot of shit went down. I mean, it
just goes to show that the writers have really thought about like the backstory of these characters and
that
not
that
just
adds to it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not the standard thing you think about when you'd be watching a TV show or a sci-fi show in America. It's not the kind of thing you think about typically.
No, but this is the kind of thing that you really enjoy and love. Like me hearing this, like I'm so happy they put that in there because it was worth the time and the energy and the effort because it just added to the story. That's all this is.
Yeah.
And I love how Culbert is nurturing and protective without being an asshole about it. He's not screaming and yelling. It's like, hey, radiation.
It's like, oh,
we
by
got
the
to
way.
do something.
Yeah.
He's not freaking out. We're going to fucking die if we don't
Exactly.
die.
We're not panicking, but, if you're not back here in so long, it's not going to make any difference.
Yeah. If you're gone longer than a day, don't worry. Don't come back.
Yeah, forget about it.
Yeah.
But it's so cool to see. And when they come back and they meet up back with Burnham, that little reunited thing, when they figure out what's going on, they're like, oh, that kid's doing this and the monster. And
feels so good.
And Culbert, we always loved Culbert.
That was freaky, as you guys were beginning to talk about in the beginning of the episode, when he freaks out. It looks like because he was on that planet, he's got some sort of resonance with the dilithium crystals.
Yeah, he's tied into it. He
freaks out. Yeah, it almost caused the burn again.
Well, it's like, the thing I come back to, because Star Trek 3, when Spock was reborn on Genesis, the planet Genesis, but planet Genesis was not stable. And every time there was an earthquake, he had like a thing being in his head. It was like, because the world he was out of sync and the world was out of sync. And together, when they both went out of sync at the same time, it was tied together. So
is that what it was?
Yeah, that's kind of what it was. It wasn't just the Pon Farr being stretched in really fast, which also is not very comfortable. But it was tough for him physically because he would get bonged. It was not comfortable. Be in a mental state when you're physically tied in with a planet like that. And Su'Kal is kind of getting the same thing. When he feels threatened, the planet feels threatened. So
it's kind of like a real good example of quantum entanglement. He's
some serious
quantumly entangled with the planet.
Yeah.
I thought what happened was because of all the radiation and because he was a kid, he evolved in a way, like he changed. He grew up to be like different than normal.
Well, he did.
Yep.
Well, because of that, when he gets distressed, the crystals act like an amplifier, and it takes that stress and all that energy and what he causes and it amplifies it out into the
that is
and that's
really good.
That's
theory.
why it only affects dilithium.
That's a very good
because
theory.
it's dilithium affecting dilithium.
Yeah, that's very interesting. It very well could be. We have to see if he's able to, once they're able to beat the monster at the end of the thing, how's it going to happen? Are they going to be able to take him away and everything's going to chill out? Or is every time he gets a little snooty about something, a ship explodes?
Yeah, no matter where he's at.
And does that only happen while he's on the planet?
Yeah.
Or if he's taken away from the planet, will it happen again?
So it's the same kind of thing. He's tied in with it emotionally.
Well, once you have superpowers, it's hard to strip someone of superpowers.
True. Yeah. Even if it's an unintentional superpower.
Yeah.
Well, in the age of 2020, you would look at technology and see it as a superpower, as magic, where, maybe it's just something we don't understand, but it's technological,
Yeah, there might be a way for them to adjust it.
Well, I've got people I know where they will walk near a computer and it will crash. It's just kind of how it goes. Some people look at it as bad luck, but there are people that will walk near a computer and it just fucking crashes.
I'm kind of like that. My I got a quick story real fast. My ex-husband was a huge computer technology, like everything electronical you could possibly imagine, like huge, like beyond huge. He was really into it. And every single time I walked into the room, or whenever, I would just literally walk into a freaking room and all of a sudden the computer would shut down or something would happen or the computer would start freaking out. And he's like, dude, you got some waves or something, because I don't have this problem when you're around, but as soon as you come in here, now I have to freaking troubleshoot the rest of the day.
Yeah, I've had customers like that.
I mean, you are distracting when you walk into a room, but a computer, computers will do that. My mother there's always there's a lottery machine at the grocery store. And every time my mother would go buy the lottery machine at the grocery store, it would say, I'm out of order, or it would stop, it would crash. You ready to buy that winning lotto ticket? And the fucking thing actually turns off right in front of you. It's like, that's never happened before.
No, this is the thing.
That phrase, this has not happened before, happens all the time to my mother when electronics. I think there are people that just kind of walk near stuff. And it affects them. It's completely scientifically not feasible the way we look at technology today and the way science works, but that shit happens.
Yeah, I've had customers like that.
Jumping back for a minute to Max Headroom, Matt Frewer, he was also on TNG.
Yes, he was. That was a good episode.
Yeah, A Matter of Time in the 5th season, and
where he's actually a con man, but he pretends like he's from the future and he's just looking at the historical moment of something, which is all BS because he's there to steal shit.
And his birthday is in 2 days.
No
Oh,
kidding.
cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
We're gonna
January
have to
4th.
wish it.
Happy birthday, Matt.
Happy birthday, Matt Frewer.
By the time this comes out, it may have already been your birthday.
And you probably don't even listen to us or know who we are, but happy birthday anyway.
We love you.
Well, somebody who listens to you, 6 degrees of separation, they might tell him.
There you
to
go.
a friend, and they tell someone, and they tell someone.
Doug Jones, tell him, Doug.
I have a kind of like a Black Mirror episode that happened to me with computer technology to get off the track just a little bit. There was this person that her computer would act up every single time. Other technicians would go there and they try to fix it. It wouldn't work. I would show up and it would work. And she's like, I don't understand it. How come every time you come by, my system works and nobody else fixes it? And I says, I'll fix that. So what I did is I went and got those photo booths. As a joke, I went and took some black and white pictures in a photo booth. I clipped one, opened up her chassis, and I taped my picture on the inside of the PC. And I close it up. And I says, now your PC will work all the time. And this is the weirdest fucking thing.
It worked all the time.
After I did that, the computer never had a problem.
That is awesome.
Oh my goodness.
So I thought that was true.
That
and I
is
could
so
picture
cool.
after I left that job and somebody like fixes her computer, they get it going. What the
here?
fuck is this picture? They took it off.
Then the computer stops working for some reason. I don't know why.
The computer stopped working. Where's that fucking picture? Put it back.
Oh man, that's great. Yeah, because every time you go to help somebody for tech support and you walk in like it's working fine now.
Yeah.
Well, of course, because I'm looking at it. I'll walk out of the other room. I'll go home, get comfortable, and then you'll call me. It's not working again because that's the way it works. It waits for you to get there, and then it starts to behave.
Strange Cars does it too. When you take a car to mechanic, it's making that fucking sound. What's that sound? So as you drive in a parking lot, it's like, wait, why are you not making that sound? Mechanic drives a car. I don't hear it. All right. Okay. So you get in your car, you drive off, you get 2 blocks away. Tick, 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 tick.
Yeah.
So it's all over.
Our technology knows.
There's one more. So when I walk into the mess hall, the replicator, every single time, it doesn't work. I order apples and it just gives me a pile of shit. I am so upset. It never works. This is why I have to cook. This is why I almost burned down the kitchen.
It knows that you can't cook either, so it doesn't want you to fuck up the replicators.
Well, thank God we got this Defiant Clash thing, because the last ship that we were on, every time you walked in, the replicators would explode. So this is a lot better.
Or spit out a bunch of hot bananas.
I almost forgot about that.
Hot banana.
Right. Now, we've gotten so far off the path.
Yeah, let's get right back up. We haven't talked about Orsyraa and Tilly.
Final scene of the episode. Final section.
No, we still haven't talked about Orsyraa and Tilly showing up.
Yeah, that's it. That's
well, I mean, it's at the end of this act, and then there's an act.
Okay, so we're doing Act 4?
Yep.
Yeah.
Act 4, shit hits the fan. Storyline A, Saru sings a lullaby and the monster runs away. Then the Kelpian runs away. Book radios in and tells them that whatever just happened, don't do it again because it almost caused another burn. That's when they figure out that Tukal was the reason why the burn happened. The Doctor and Saru decide to stay on the planet and look after the child so another burn doesn't happen. If Discovery doesn't come back in 24 hours, they will surely be dead. Michael teleports onto Book's ship and they leave. Storyline B, Book leaves Discovery to go save Michael, Saru, and the Doctor. But Adira stows away on Book's ship and transports down in order to help Saru and the Doctor. Tilly orders a black alert, but before Stamets can make the jump, Orsyraa teleports her army onto Discovery and they take over the ship and the captain's chair before both ships jump away. Michael and Book see this and they are stranded.
Ooh, this last section was a lot of things to digest, and this last section actually had me stand up and go, what the fuck? When first off you had Adira smuggled onto the ship, showing just how much she loves her crew and loves Stamets.
Her gaddy.
And she just her daddy, Culbert, and she's like,
no, her gaddy.
I think you call him Pappy.
Yeah, gay daddy.
And she's like, I'm taking all of your radiation medicine and I'm beaming down. And it's like, what are you doing? And then it's like, and then when he rescues Michael and not knowing the situation's happening on Discovery, that last part where all of a sudden the ship gets taken over remind me of the one when the Kazon took over Voyager. When you sit there and you go, what the hell?
Yeah, it's like, and you're hitting it there? Oh my God.
So it's like, seriously. what? And then to come back and she's like, there's Discovery, let's go. And you see it jump away. It's like, oh no.
Yeah, it's like, oh shit.
And Tilly being defiant all the way. She's like, get out of the chair. Fuck you, no.
She's like, you're gonna have to
taste
kill
me,
me,
Red.
She's like, and get blood on the chair?
Yeah, like, no, I don't want to spend the time cleaning that.
I love that Tilly dished out as exactly what she got sent back to her. So, yes, for Tilly being a captain.
Yeah.
She was badass.
No, I love how when she's trying to cut Tilly apart and Tilly gave it right back to her.
Yeah, right back
and you
to her.
could see.
Give her some Freud and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, gave it back. And you could see Orsyraa got it right in the field. She's like, that bitch.
It's like, oh, girl, you did not. Yeah.
She's like, you are that bitch. Okay, I got
It's
it.
like, seriously.
It is on.
It's like, Tilly's like, F with me and find out, you know?
Everybody knows you don't fuck with a ginger. It's just you don't.
That's true. Don't mess with the redheads. Oh my God.
Fiery as fuck.
Yeah.
That's right. You just don't want to do it.
They will hurt you.
No. So you sit at the end of this episode and you're thinking, how the fuck are they going to get out of this?
Right? Because like she's taking Discovery. Like, what the heck, man?
You know,
Yeah.
and then Stamets is there and it's like, I'm going to make you jump. And it's like, no, you're not. You can't make me jump. Well, we have a Princess Tiara that's going to fuck your head up. And they put the tiara on his head and then he lobotomizes him.
That queen just zoned out.
You know, it's like, oh my God. It was really.
They got played pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the cliffhanger was like, what the hell? It was really, really good episode, this one.
Yeah. Really enjoyed it a lot. It was a good one.
And what's going to happen next week? Oh my God.
That's what we're going to have to figure out. However, we promised you guys a double episode, but this is a part 1. So if you want to hear part 2, you're going to have to look for it because as soon as we end this one, another one is going to be uploaded. So we're going to double your pleasure, double your fun.
Double your fun.
You know, more of Rocky, and this has just begun. So we're going to have a lot of fun there.
Double my editing.
You're gonna pause just in case that you're gonna come back with us. So if you don't, I'm gonna give our traditional goodbyes here. We are. I know. Stop it. We have been brought to you by Section 31, and I think they're responsible for us finally getting this spore drive. So I'll have to talk to them between shows and find out. I'll let you guys know. So you got to make sure you come back and hear it. But thank you so much for joining us. Happy New Year, and please make sure you don't only just have a great week, but make it so.
Starfleet Underground, beaming into a podcast feed near you. Log on to our website at starfleetunderground.com and send your comments and questions to thecollective@starfleetunderground.com. Follow us on Twitter at StarfleetUnderG and on Facebook and Instagram, we're Starfleet Underground.